Hi guys, it's Sherry. Today I am actually going to be making a bracelet upon request. So I actually had one of my followers mention that she'd like to see me do a bracelet. So I've been racking my brain for the last couple weeks trying to figure out what exactly I want to do. And I came up with the idea, and I'm hoping it's going to work out as well as I think it's going to. So I ended up getting this metal bangle, or cuff, I should say, and I'm actually going to be taking these off. I will be adding a magnet to this later on, but as of right now, we do not need anything on this. So I rolled out my white Primo clay to my 5th thickest setting. And to start out, I'm just going to kind of roll this and make an impression so I know exactly where I need it to go, to see how much clay I am going to need. And then I'm just going to cut a little bit above it. And then I'm going to clean up my sides here, and I'll trim all that up afterwards. I decided that I actually want to keep my cuff on because I have an idea that I want some of this silver to be showing. So I'm just going to put my liquid clay on here to make sure that my clay bonds to this and stays on. So I'm just going to rub that on. All right, now I'm going to take my clay and just lay it right over it. And doing this, I want to make sure I don't get no air bubbles in here. So I'm just going to push this up. And I'm going to wrap it around very lightly. So to do that, I'm just going to get, oops, hold on. I want to just put a little bit of the liquid clay inside here, so it has something to bond to. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. So I don't know if you can see inside there. I'm just rubbing right in there. Just a very little bit on the edge. And then I'm going to bend it over just so it has something to grip onto. That way, I'm hoping by doing that, this piece stays completely on. And I'm just going to kind of go over. And then I'm going to trim up my edges here. And I'm just following along my edge. Okay, now I'm just going to push my edges down. And I'm going to make them nice and smooth. All right, when I'm done, I'll clean up the inside of here. And now I chose this gemstone. I just absolutely love this. And I've been waiting to do something special with this, so I thought this would be the perfect project. I want to put that right in the middle. I think that looks pretty good there. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to roll this out because I want to encase the bottom and sides of this gemstone. Okay, so I rolled that out to my 4th thinnest setting. And I am going to just cut around this piece. And I'm leaving some edge around it so I can easily build up around my gemstone. So I could just pull it right up. Okay, now I want to clean up my edges here. So I'm just carefully going to glide my X-Acto knife right across the top. Even though I'm putting clay around my stone, I still want as much as my stone to show as possible. Okay. So that looks pretty good. Okay. I am going to put a little bit of liquid clay on here to kind of give it that little extra support. I did see that's going to come down just a tad bit. Okay. Make sure it's right in the middle. Then I want to press this down. All right, my next step is I'm just going to take a little bit of white clay and I want to kind of just blend in the sides to make sure that this is 100% securely put on and it will not fall off. So I'm just going to stick that inside there like that. Carefully hold it. There we go. And now I'm just going to push that right in there and blend it. And I'm going to blend that so it all becomes one piece. So you won't even see that I put that in there. All right, now look how beautiful that all blended together. Get off. Okay. All right, gorgeous. All right. All right, so now I have my tool here, and I chose to use my multi-circle one because I'm going to do a lot of noodles or snakes, however you want to put it. And I didn't want to take the time to actually do them all by hand. And I'm using black, so this way you can see a little bit better what exactly I'm doing. So I'm going to push that in there. And then I'm going to be doing a bunch of noodles here. And I will be making these thinner than they are, but it's good to have these already started. So it's very time saving for me to do it this way. So I'm just going to separate these so the clay doesn't stick together. All right. Now my next step is I want some of this silver to show through. And I'm trying to decide if I want to do like kind of swirls or if I want to do shapes. I'm not sure exactly what I want to do yet with it. I'm thinking just different like lines so we could see, because I want to make this look all metal. So I'm going to do like a multicolor metal look on this. And I thought the silver would look really good showing through. So let's just wing this. Trying to see if I have any cutters here. Oh, here we go. This might work. Yeah, let's do that. That'll look pretty cool. Oops. Okay. I'm going to give it like a little flower look. That'll look neat, huh? Pop that up. And this didn't cut all the way through, so I'm just going to carefully you don't want my clay to break. This one I cut a little too close, so we're going to actually see if I can change that a little bit. There we go. And I'm going to go over that with my noodles to give it a little extra support. That looks pretty cool. Maybe I could do like smaller ones on the side to give it a little bit extra. So let's see here. What do I have? What do I have? Maybe I'll just cut it out myself. No. We'll kind of go partially. Give us a little idea how I want it. And we're going to go a little bit up like this. Pull that out. Oh, this is going to look really cool, guys. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Kind of give me my little starting point. That's okay. I'm going to put black there. So I'm really happy with that. Let's do the same thing on this side. Alrighty. So I want to clean up my edges here. I want to make these nice and smooth inside. This one wasn't too bad. All right. So now I'm going to take my noodle and I want to make them skinnier. Get that out of the way. And then I'm going to carefully go around my pieces here, my openings. And just follow your openings. Now I have that missing, so I'm actually going to take a little bit of white. I'm going to stick it in there for some support. So my clay has something to lay on. And I'm just going to slice it right at the bottom. And then carefully press it down. And as I'm going, I'm just slowly and carefully using my other finger to lay the black clay down. Pretty happy with that. And I'm going to get a Q-tip and clean all that up. Who else here really kind of like has an idea of what they want to do, and then when they're doing their project, that idea is completely gone and you do something different? Because I feel like that's what I do with every single project. I have these ideas and I'm like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And then as I start going along, my mind starts saying nope. And I end up changing my mind and doing something completely different. So I'm very curious. If you are like that as well, please let me know in the comments, because sometimes it's great to be that way. And then sometimes I find myself going crazy going, how did I end up here? But I will say most of the time, when I do change my mind, my projects come out pretty darn good. So like this one, I knew I wanted to do this bracelet with this gem, and I knew I wanted to have silver come out, but I wasn't sure. And I thought, oh, maybe I could do like zigzags or something. And then I end up with this beautiful, almost like flower style. And I find that happens a lot with me. Alrighty, finally, those are outlined. And now I want to kind of do a little bit of swirling. But I want to first make sure this is good. I'm thinking I could kind of do some kind of swirl pattern over here to make it look like the inside of a circle, like the flower. Stick that together. And I'm going to lift that and see how that will look. Don't fall apart. Put it upside down. I want to make that thinner right there. Let me get that black out of there. There we go. Smooth that out since I just put a nick in it. All right, I'm happy with that. So that kind of gives me my little flower look. All right, let's do the same thing. And I'm thinking about right there. It should be, and then I'm going to smooth that, do that sideways so it all blends together nicely. And do that. Okay. And now I'm just going to kind of make little swirls everywhere. Turn that in. And I'm going to take my noodles and I'm going to do that all over my bracelet. Okay, so I decided I'm not going to add anything to here because no matter how much I'm trying to put stuff there, it just does not look nice. So I'm going to keep all my detail just on the side and let these open pieces be that centerpiece because I think adding stuff around it is really going to take away the beauty of the openness there. So my next step is going to be to try and clean that. So I'm going to clean this up quickly and then I'm going to get a Q-tip and see if I can get some of that glue off of that metal piece there. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can get that cleaned up. I just got my Q-tip a little wet. And I don't want to do too much in there because I'm afraid I might ruin the area. But I definitely want to get as much of that glue off of there because I think that if I have to go scraping it afterwards, I might ruin it. And I have to be very careful. All right, and I think the rest, if I have to scrape it, I can without destroying anything. Almost wish I had a tinier Q-tip. Can't get in there with that. So let me see. Oh, you know what? I bet you a paintbrush would work. Let me see if I could get a little paintbrush in there. Oh, that works beautiful. So just get a paintbrush. And that gets all of it. Get that little piece down. Okay, so very happy with that. All right, I think that looks beautiful. All right, so now my next step is to clean up my inside here, and I am just going to carefully trim away, take a small layer of clay off. I don't want to take too much off, but I definitely want to take a little bit off because it's kind of thick there. And I don't need all that clay. Let me see if I can get some of this off that we're not using. I think when it's all dry, I could kind of sand away the little bit that's left there. So I'm not going to mess with that too much. But see how much nicer that looks than that big bulky thing. So I'm going to carefully try to do the same thing on this side. Okay. So my next step is I want to put my holes back into my piece here. So I got to kind of poke through, find my hole so I know where I need to connect my pieces for my latch then. So I'm just going to take my tiny ballpoint tool and kind of push that in just till it makes a mark so I know where that's going to go. Okay. And lastly, just make sure our edges are nice and clean. I want to kind of pull them down because now from playing around so much, I kind of pulled them away from the edge. So I just got to carefully pull it back down. I'm just slowly and carefully pulling my clay to the edge because I want it to all be nice and smooth. All right, guys. So that is my piece. I am going to now stick this in my oven at 275. I am going to bake this piece for a full hour. When it is done cooling off, I will come back and then we will paint this baby up. So before you put your piece in your oven, make sure everything is exactly the way you want it, because sometimes you touch things and it moves. And once it's baked and cooled off, there's no going back and really kind of changing that unless you take it apart. So make sure everything is to your desire or exactly what you like, and then put it in the oven and we will be back. Now my bracelet is out of the oven. It's completely cooled down. I did a quick little sand job on it, and I think this came out absolutely beautiful. Everything is nice and secure on here. I wiggled it, bent it, did all kinds of things to make sure it would not fall off. And I think it looks fantastic and it's nice and secure. So I decided I'm going to do a silver all the way around, and then I'm going to highlight all this with a nice gold. So let's get started on that. I'm not going to worry about trying to be perfect with this right away. I know I'm going to need a couple coats of this. Okay, so now the inside here, I want to be real careful and try not to get too much of my metal because I don't want to spend too much time with cleanup. So I'm going to be as careful as I can to get the edges and not the metal. I'm not going to worry too much about the stone because we could clean that up. Okay, clean up that little bit afterwards. Okay, so I am going to let this completely dry before I do the gold. So when that dries, we'll come back and do the gold part. All right, so now our piece is dry and we are going to do our gold. So to do the gold, I decided I'm just going to use my finger to go over the top very lightly. So I'm just going to take my finger, stick it in the paint, dab it off, and then just very carefully just touch the tops of my pieces. We want to try not to get in between because then we have to do too many touch-ups. So we just want to take our time with this and go slowly. Okay, that area is a little tight, so I'm actually going to use my brush. Otherwise, there's going to be a lot of touch-ups that I'm going to have to do, and I don't want to do too many. See if there's anywhere else that needs some nice touch-ups. Okay, so once that dries, I'll do the second coat on that. So let's go over here and do this side. All right, now I'm going to move back over to this side. Let's do my second coat. Make sure it's nice and bright. Check for little areas that you may miss. Okay, now I'm going to get my silver again and do all my touch-ups. So anywhere that I got gold that I'm not supposed to have gold, I want to go over with my silver. Start on this side. And look at it very carefully. Okay, I'm happy with that. All my gold looks like it's covered up. I don't see any more spots. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put this back into the oven for 15 minutes just to make sure that my paint is 100% binded before I do anything else to this. So let me do that and then we will be back. Okay, guys, so now my piece is once again out of the oven. It's completely cooled off. I know that my paint is sealed now, so we're going to start cleaning up some of this stuff. And in order to clean my stone, I just basically need a little towel. And I'm going to use some rubbing alcohol. And I'm just going to wipe away any paint that is on my stone. I did see here I have some gold paint that came through, so I will do a little bit of touch up on that. And right here is where I saw the gold paint. Okay, so my touch up there is good. Now I'm gonna get that wet, and I'm just gonna go inside, kind of clean up any mess. See, there's a little bit of paint there, so I am going to get a tool. I just want to kind of take the little bit of paint that's on the edge here off. And I'm just kind of getting the edges so any paint that is there is going to come loose. I am a little concerned about how thin these walls are. So I'm kind of thinking it would be wise for me to put a little UV resin in there just for some protection. I don't need a lot, just a little bit, and I think that will help protect it from breaking. I hate to go through all this work, and it's a real shame that I feel like I have to do that, but because the walls are so thin, I have that fear that once I start wearing this, it will break. So I'm actually going to put just a tiny bit of UV in here. So I'm going to have to carefully just do one side at a time. And like I said, I'm not putting a lot in. And that way it has a little bit of support. And we'll still be able to see the silver. Okay, let me put that under the light for a few minutes. Okay, you can see it's still just as beautiful, and now we have that protection. So let's do the next side. All right, so now both sides are completely done with the UV. And then we're going to do our gloss, and we also have to put on our magnet. So I just got to kind of see how much space I need, and I think these two are going to work out well. Oops. Oops. Come on. These are really hard. Definitely not losing those jump rings. Okay. Okay. That's much nicer. Okay. Let me clean this up. Get the whole inside nice. Okay. And finally, our last step is to put our glaze on. All right, so now we just need to put our gloss on. Okay, let's let that dry. All right, guys, so now our piece is completely done. I think it looks pretty cool. I'm very happy with this. We have our magnet closure. Put that on, and it closes automatically. And I am thrilled with this. So if you guys enjoyed this video and created along with me, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to keep the videos coming your way. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.